Hey guys, Gathering the Magic back again. Just wanted to go over some new Golem Overlord changes and news. A lot has happened in the game in the last 24 48 hours. I'm still kind of digesting a lot of the changes as well, but I figured since I'm going through it, I might as well share just what I've learned about the changes and just kind of my strategy going forward. One of the things they got rid of course, is algorithm. Algorithm is now called Scavenger Golems. And this kind of determines now your hourly scavenge rate. So every golem that you have will cost you 10 part and will increase your hourly scavenge rate by 0.12 part. Now here's the thing, if you only have one scavenger golem, you're only going to produce 0.12 part every hour, which is almost nothing. So scavenger golems becomes just very, very vital to how much you can claim. But let's start at the top. Let's start with levels and see what levels do for you now in the game. So your level gives you a skill bonus. Your level also, you get experience every hour, and the default for that is 0.1 experience per hour. Another thing is levels give you a claim and energy cooldown reduction. Now what that does, let's take a look at it. I'm level 5, so my claim cooldown, instead of being 8 hours, is 7.94. So really not much at all. But if we look at the energy cooldown, now typically your energy recharges every 4 hours. With my level being 5, I now get one energy every just over 3.5 hours. So I get one energy every 3 hours and 37 minutes as opposed to 4 hours. So if the one thing I'm taking away from this is if you are doing an attack build where you want to get a lot of energy and attack other players, it looks like your level becomes very important. So that's just one, I really don't do an attack build, but I can see where this is going to be extremely important. The higher your level, the shorter amount of time you will recharge energy and you'll be able to attack more often. So that's one thing I took away from your level as being important. It does help slightly with the cooldown for claiming, but it really helps with energy. Okay, let's look at your reputation now. So this I think has pretty much stayed the same. So whatever parts that you put in reputation, 2% of that is converted to XP every hour, and it's capped at 10% of however much you need to level. So once again, reputation is important. This helps you to level faster. So if you have like a little bit of extra part, you're not sure exactly what to do with it, you probably want to have this at 10 or higher for it to make any difference whatsoever. Earlier in the game, when you're trying to level a lot of your stats and just get your base stats higher, you're not going to have the part to be able to spend in reputation. It's probably nothing that's critical right in the beginning. But as you get these to a decent level, when you first start, when you get everything to say level 3 or level 4, then maybe you can start thinking about reputation to help your experience level a little bit faster. And like I said, with Scavenger Golems, this is basically now what determines what your rate is per hour. So if we just look at mine right now, the maximum amount of golems I could have right now is 52. And that would cost me 10 part per golem. So it would cost me 520 part to max out my golems. Now let's say I did that. So I've got 52 golems, and let's multiply that by 0.12 part. That means I would be making 6.24 part every hour. And then for an 8-hour claim window, that means I could claim almost exactly 50 part every 8 hours. So if I'm producing 50 part in 8 hours, I need to be able to have a claim amount that's at 50. So your claim amount now is determined by how much that you have banked, which is basically staked. So if I want to claim 50, your base amount that you can have in your stash is 6.9. So let's take 50 minus 6.9. That gives you 43.1. So I need to have 43.1. Now to have that as my extra, I have to basically multiply that by 3. So that is 129.3 part. So if you have 129.3 part banked right here, this should give you exactly, let's do the math. So you will end up having, I think, exactly 50. So this will be your max stash right here. Now, assuming you don't get attacked, you don't lose any of this part, you want to have, what did I say, 129.3 for banked. Then you want to have 52 for Scavenger Golems. And that will allow you basically to collect 50 part every 8 hours. But how expensive is that going to be? You're going to spend 520 part just to get that amount of Scavenger Golems, and then you're going to have to spend another almost 130 in your bank. So this is something to work towards, but just trying to show you what the potentials are. Power basically is the same. It's your attack strength. One thing power did in the past, I'm not sure if that's going to be changed. If your power was under 10, every point that you put in power, I think, added 1 to your max stash amount. So if you have, like I have 7 points in power, maybe I don't need to have the 129 banked. So just something to look at. Like I said, my account and your account is going to vary in what the stats are and what the amounts are. So basically what you want to look at is you want to look at your Scavenger Golems, how much you're producing per hour. That will be listed right here on the right. So as you can see, I have 11 Scavenger Golems, and my rate here on the right is 1.29 part every hour. So you kind of want to compare how much you're producing every hour to what your max stash is, and you want to get that as close as possible. So like right now, if I'm producing 1.29 an hour times 8, that's a little bit under 10. So this is way above what I'm going to be able to claim. But this amount is going to change once the update goes live, which should be in less than 24 hours. So once that's all done and I see what my max stash is, I'll be able to adjust my account from there. But it looks like from what I have so far with my 27.3 banked, so if you take 27.3 and you divide that by 3, that gives me 9.1 plus my 6.9 base. That means I will have 16. So that means right here, this amount going forward, once the changes are made, I will be able to collect 16 parts every 8 hours. So what I need to do is to be able to produce 2 parts per hour, so that will get me to that 16. How do I get 2 parts per hour? We go back to the Scavenger Golems. So if I want 2, I got to divide 2 by 0.12. I'm going to need 16.7 Scavenger Golems. So for my build right now, to kind of maximize how much I'm producing and be able to basically collect and have it equal out, I'm going to have to put at least another, 50 some part into my Scavenger Golems to get this number up to 17. Golem charging station, this is something that affects the max golems that you are able to have. Like I said, for mine being level 5, that's what's giving me my 52 max for my golems. Golem charging station now also has a bonus for your claim. So not including level 1, but every level above that you get a 0.5% bonus for your charging station. As you can see right here, mine says 2% charging station level 5 bonus. So this does help a little bit when you go to claim your part. The faith stat I think is still the same, where it determines your shard chance and increases the amount you steal on attacks, and I think it also decreases the amount that is stolen from you. So faith is still very important. But like I said, one of the main things to look at for the changes is how many Scavenger Golems do you have? What is your rate? And then how much do you have banked? Because now you're going to have some banked to be able to increase your max stash. So that's the 2 stats that you guys need to look at is what is my hourly rate? Multiply that by 8, and that's what I want my stash to be. So hope that helps you guys a little bit. Like I said, these changes, I'm still going through and learning the game with everyone else. I'm learning how levels are important now, especially for the attack build, so you can attack more often. But what I'm concentrating now on is getting my Scavenger Golem stat and my banked stat, or how much I have banked, all in line together so that I know exactly how much I need to be as efficient as possible. But like I said, this is assuming that you don't get plundered. If you get plundered and you lose some part, of course, you're not going to get your maximum, but there's really not a whole lot you can do for that other than just get your fortification as high as possible. So there you have it, guys. Hope this helps. If you have any other questions on Golem Overlord, please leave those in the comments below. And until then, I will see you again soon with another video. Take care.